when a person with mental illness is depicted, and the prototype being severe mental illness, schizophrenia, you will see these individuals are shown as people who are weird, who behave in a very aggressive manner. They are in dark rooms, they're sometimes chained, shackled. Now, this is absolutely incorrect. I should say this right at the outset. People who suffer from severe mental illness or schizophrenia, they are very rarely violent. Now, you have to understand the context when they tend to get angry or aggressive. Many times, the symptoms of schizophrenia can be delusions. That is suspiciousness, paranoia, a fixed belief that someone is trying to harm them or harm their family. They have hallucinations. They hear voices of things which are non-existent, and the voices are often threatening, commanding to them. Now, imagine if someone in that state, if the person is ridiculed or if the person is threatened by the other person, he feels that his or her security is compromised. And that's the time when he or she retaliates. So if somebody is reacting to their symptoms, it should not be mistaken or misconstrued as violence or aggression. Dissociative identity disorders, it's a debatable entity. Though such a disorder exists, most of the times in our clinical practice, we usually don't see that. Even though the word schizophrenia in Latin, schizos phrenos, it means a split mind. But this is not the same as a split or a dual or multiple personalities. Also, to add here that our understanding the science behind why schizophrenia happens has evolved over a period of time. So initially, long back when we didn't have much understanding about this mental disorder, it was often misconceptualized that schizophrenia was same as split personality, and that is why the illness was named such. But in reality, the split has a different connotation that I mentioned. However, most of the times when you see in movies, that old idea is retained, which is unfortunately untrue. Let's say you treat these individuals with medicines. There are medicines called antipsychotics, which take a little bit time to act, roughly around 6 to 8 weeks. And as a dictum, we often say that more than 2/3 of individuals who suffer from schizophrenia respond to these medicines. Now, who will respond to what medicine and to what extent is extremely individualized. There is no prior way to predict it. Just like diabetes, many people even don't respond to insulin in diabetes, isn't it? But the medicines have a very good response. It is always better to discuss with your doctor, with your psychiatrist, that which medicine will suit you or suit your loved one who is suffering from schizophrenia, and not to stop it till your doctor advises you to do so. Even if the symptoms come down, recovery is not just about removing the symptoms. It also means that a person has to go back to a healthy life, which is of quality. The common myth, as you asked in your question very rightly, the very common myth is that once you have the mental illness, like schizophrenia, that severe mental illness, when you see people talking to themselves, laughing to themselves, you have an immediate nihilistic thought that, okay, this person, nothing is going to help him or her. That is not true. And as long as we have these ideas, it's there even in many of, even many of the psychiatrists, mental health professionals in other medical specialties, as long as we have that nihilism inside us, I don't think really we'll be able to do justice to these individuals. People with schizophrenia, with timely treatment, with care, with social support, with counseling, and especially family needs to understand about the illness, because family support forms a major factor in recovery. And so if these factors are in place, not only are they able to work, they can set examples that mental illness can be made right together, if we try, not only psychiatrists, because we can help with medicines, counseling, but the entire society, they can really welcome these individuals back and try to help them lead a very meaningful and a happy life. There are two clusters of symptoms. Mostly what we have spoken about is, hallucinations, hearing voices, paranoia, suspiciousness, which is one cluster. There are a group of patients where there is a separate cluster of symptoms that starts. Lack of self-care, lack of understanding and care about self and others, no motivation to work, no motivation to involve or engage in people, totally lack of attention. They do not pay attention to their dressing, their daily activities, brushing, their self-care, caring about others, and gradually there is a progressive change of their personality to an extent that they really stop living the life that we are normally used to. These are called, in technical terms, these are called negative symptoms, and these symptoms have a much worse fate, much worse prognosis. They also tend to respond lesser to treatment. So in the severe cases, or in individuals who are younger or who have less social support or who have been mainly in asylums, so the typical institutions who are away from the society, they can have much more problems. So for them, working, leading an independent life may become very difficult. But again, that is, let's say, for around 15-20%. We cannot give a blanket statement that people who with schizophrenia will not be able to work, because even in my experience, in my clinic, there are n number of examples of individuals who have recovered, partially recovered well, and have gone back to work, led a meaningful life, and had held meaningful relationships. And I think they are really the motivational and the inspirational voices that kind of inspire us to carry on this job and carry on their treatment.